Torture, if you can walk away from it as soon as it ends, it's not torture. These are just techniques that can be used to find the truth, find him in a lie, and then exploit it.
Rob, I know that a lot of my friends that have become Navy SEALs and trained military people, they themselves went through many of these techniques that were used on people like Zubaydah and KSM. Did you have to go through any of that in your training?
Oh, yeah. They use all kinds of techniques on us that make it very, very uncomfortable. We have stuff that's called surf torture, drown proofing, things like that. And if some of these Human Watch people actually saw SEAL training, they'd probably try to cancel it, and we'd lose some of our best military personnel in the world.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you recognize the name and the man, and I'm not talking about Sean Hannity, of course, my friend, but also Robert O'Neill, retired SEAL Team 6 member and the man who shot and killed Osama Bin Laden. Welcome back, sir. Great to talk to you again.
Great to be here again. Thank you for having me.
Well, before we get to that whole Senate report, the horrific attack, and this takes me back, you know, to the Beslan attack in Russia, where the Chechnyan terrorists killed all those school children, and here again the Pakistan Taliban killing over 140 people. I think 130 of them were children. We're hearing that many of the children were beheaded. Just a horrific scene. You know, when you just wonder, God forbid, how do we stop it from happening here one day?
Well, it all starts with just the realization that the enemy's still out there, and just because we don't necessarily believe in them, they believe in us, no matter how politically correct we want to get. I mean, they're showing that they're hitting at not even our most vulnerable, but our most innocent spot, where they're going in and they're beheading children, burning teachers alive in front of children. It shows you the types of people, if you can even call them people, that we're dealing with, and they're out there after us, and they're not going to forget anything. They're fighting for the ideology.
And you know, the president in his statement, the Weekly Standard made note of the fact that they don't mention the Taliban. United States condemns in the strongest possible terms the horrific attack on the Army Public School, blah, 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 our hearts and prayers. But again, this speaks to the political correctness of it. They don't even mention the people who did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just, we need at some point to start telling the truth. And the truth is, it's a group of people that are fighting for a caliphate. They're trying to take over, if not all of the world, part of the world, and they're doing it based on some of their misguided beliefs. And it is Taliban, it is ISIS, you know, it is Sunni Islam, a part of it, and people need to tell the truth to themselves.
And you know, this fantasy that was put forth by the president after you and your team members killed Osama bin Laden, that basically we were done, and you know, the Al Qaeda is gone, and the implication being that now we're kind of safe. That was not true, was it?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that, you know, it's the whole trying to nail Jello to the wall thing. We killed Osama bin Laden. We really hurt Al Qaeda, but all they do is morph into something else. They stay fluid. They move to places like Yemen, like places to Syria. They change their name from Al Qaeda to ISIS. They, you know, or the, you know, whatever kind of the Khorasan group, whatever it is. It's still the same group of you know, a small number of misguided people that are hell bent on destroying the world so they can get to heaven based on their beliefs alone.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's move on and talk about the Senate report. Not only did you undergo some of those techniques, but what damage was done to this country? How much harder is it going to be for your remaining SEAL members there, the Navy SEALs and Special Ops Forces and American soldiers all over the world because of that report?
Well, I think some of the damage that was done is a lot of our allied countries that we depend on to use some of their territory, some of their people, just because they see this is like the ultimate kiss and tell. You know, they said we could use some of their spots. We did use them, and now they're like, wait a minute, we're not going to help you again if you're going to do this to us. So that damage is there, and also it seemed to me it was just more, there was really no reason for it. If it would at least come with some recommendations, that would have been fine, but there were no recommendations. It kind of just came out just to come out, because I don't know if it was a slow news cycle or what the reasoning was, but there's damage there because it was needless.
Do you believe that given the same circumstances, God forbid, next week, next year, we should do the same thing to get information?
Well, we should use the same thing to get information, but it's not, and like, you know, I've been making the point that it's not torture. It's all part of a longer method of extracting information, and it comes from in a bunch of different ways. It's not just you walk into a room, you hit them with water, and then they either talk or they don't. you know, it's keeping them awake for a while so they get confused, keeping them literally in the dark for a while so they don't know what time it is. They're tired. They're standing up. They're tired of the loud music, you know, and certain things add up to all of a sudden then they do say something, and then it becomes more comfortable. It's the ultimate good cop, bad cop thing, and that will work. It's not, I mean, if you go in and start pulling fingernails and, you know, using drill bits on body parts, they're just going to talk, but if you can confuse them with stuff that they can walk away from, it's going to work, and it has worked, and it will work. And, yeah, we should use it again.
Robert, great to talk to you, sir. I hope you'll come back. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll speak to you soon.
Merry Christmas. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Robert O'Neill, ladies and gentlemen, the member of SEAL Team 6 that killed Osama Bin Laden, the man who killed Osama Bin Laden, actually. Stay with us for HotAir.com editor Jazz Shaw next.